Hey guys, Anthony aka the Almighty Hut here. Since Disney bought Lucasfilm way back in 2012, the Star Wars franchise has had its ups and downs. In this video, I'm going to discuss why 2019 is a make or break year for Star Wars. Let's go. As we near the start of the marketing push for Episode 9 with a title reveal likely coming soon if history is any indication, the Star Wars fanbase remains divided. Since the purchase of Lucasfilm by Disney, we've seen the Clone Wars cancelled, then revived. We've seen fans grow to love Rebels and an initial backlash towards Resistance. We've seen the old EU books and comics being axed from canon and new stories to take their place. We've seen EA make 2 Star Wars Battlefront games that both received a lot of hate before making changes to save face. We've seen the announcement of 2 new movie series and 2 live-action TV shows, and of the movies that have come out, both spin-offs have had production issues, and one of them lost Disney money and the other received a decent amount of praise. The Force Awakens was largely praised, but also criticized for being similar to A New Hope. And finally, The Last Jedi of course has been the most polarizing Star Wars film to date, splitting the fan base into its heavy supporters and its vocal haters. The point I'm trying to get across by bringing up the first 6+ years of Disney Star Wars is that it's been a roller coaster ride for the fandom. But we're now in early 2019, over a year removed from The Last Jedi, and there's still plenty of debate about the future of this franchise, but also hope. The question I'll be analyzing here is this: could 2019 be the year that makes or breaks Star Wars, and will the fanbase become reunited in our love for this galaxy, or will we only become further divided? Personally, I think there's really a few things this year that will decide the fate of Star Wars moving forward, as well as the fate of the fanbase. The first of those things is Star Wars Celebration in April. This is an absolutely huge moment for the franchise, and quite possibly the most important celebration or even moment period since Disney bought Star Wars. That's simply due to the sheer amount of things that we could get a look at there. Since we don't know what films are coming past Episode 9, it's possible we could find out at Celebration. We might know what the Benioff and Weiss series is, or the Rian Johnson trilogy, as well as any spin-offs. I'm honestly expecting maybe like a 5 or 6 year roadmap to be unveiled for the films, just so we as fans have more to look forward to. Celebration will be crucial to reuniting the fans and drumming up hype once again for this franchise. Secondly, as far as video games go, I think Jedi Fallen Order is EA's last chance with the Star Wars license. If it's bad, the fans won't give them any more chances even if Disney does. I believe this because Battlefront 1 was like Strike 1 for simply just not having enough content. It had no campaign, and the multiplayer was fun for a few hours before most people were tired of it. Battlefront 2 was Strike 2 then, for the microtransaction debacle, and for the campaign still not being enough really. And realistically, Strike 3 already happened when EA cancelled Visceral's Star Wars project, but we'll spare them that one I guess. But if Jedi Fallen Order is lackluster too, I expect people to be a lot more angry at EA than they usually are, because EA can screw with a lot of things, but they can't screw with the Star Wars video game license, especially after we got so many great Star Wars games during the LucasArts era. EA has to be better, or the fans won't put up with it any longer. Third, TV. A lot of what Disney and Lucasfilm are doing right now happens to be TV shows, with Resistance in the middle of Season 1, The Clone Wars returning, The Mandalorian, and the Cassian Andor show. If all of these shows resonate with people, it'll be a very good and healthy thing for the fandom, and people who haven't been enjoying the movies can turn to the TV shows. It's also very likely that we'll get trailers for a lot of these shows at Celebration as well, by the way. That way we can start getting excited for new Star Wars content before Episode 9 comes out, with the exception of the Cassian show, which is likely coming after Episode 9. And speaking of Episode 9, that of course is the final reason why 2019 is an absolutely crucial year for Star Wars. If this movie is good in most people's eyes, I see The Last Jedi hate wearing off. If it's great, some might even forgive The Last Jedi if they hated it before, and the fan base will begin to heal. But if this movie is bad, or anywhere near as polarizing as The Last Jedi, I think big changes will come to the franchise. I don't think it will be bad, as I always have hope for Star Wars and I personally like The Last Jedi, but if it is viewed in the public eye as divisive or even bad, I think Kathleen Kennedy is gone. I know she signed an extension to her contract recently, but even if they aren't able to fire her, I think her internal role would be greatly decreased. I would also expect the overall trajectory of the future of the franchise to change at that point, with Lucasfilm maybe thinking about slowing things down a bit. Personally, I don't want that, so I'm hoping Episode 9 is the best Star Wars movie ever. There's also, of course, the books and comics, as well as some other things such as Galaxy's Edge, but I expect all of those to be pretty good because the books and comics usually are, and because Galaxy's Edge is just a theme park and won't have much of an effect on the state of the fandom in my opinion. It's also worth noting that less people are into the books and comics when compared to the films and TV shows, so while those mediums are still very important, their impact on the fan base as a whole isn't quite as large. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching the video, I hope you enjoyed it, and may the Force be with you all.